Hi, it's Keith Bates here, and today I want to continue talking about Bruce Schneier's article on blockchain and trust. And in particular, today I want to focus on a paragraph in which Bruce talks about trust at the reputation and institutional level. And he's talking there about why we trust banks. And this is where I think there's a glaring omission in the article, because if you look at the history of blockchain, starting off as it did with Bitcoin, it came as a response to the economic crisis of 2008, in which banks basically ruined the economy, and then governments bailed them out. And furthermore, through quantitative easing, governments gave them interest-free loans. Now, maybe it's a generational thing, and Bruce Schneier's generation still has this implicit trust in institutions like banks and governments. But I think that the generation that's come after mine, the millennial generation, is a generation in which trust in institutions such as government and banks are at an all-time low. And after the 2008 economic collapse, no alternative was offered to the existing trust systems by any of the incumbent banks or any of the governments. It was just, let's prop up this system, pour some money in that we take from the taxpayers in order to save it and continue business as usual. And I think there's a lot of discontent, particularly in the younger demographic, about this very fact. So blockchain may not be perfect, but as far as I can tell, it is the only alternative to the trust in financial transactions that we are supposed to put into banks. Now, I'd like to add here that I'm not a libertarian crypto anarchist. I have a bank account in Finland and I pay my taxes, and I'm pretty happy with the way the society works here in Finland. But what I'm trying to do is point out that the viewpoint of a certain sector of society has changed, and that the implicit trust given to banks and to governments that used to be present 10, 20, 30 years ago, and certainly was 50 years ago in my grandparents' time, is now no longer there, and an alternative is needed. Now, also, I'm not saying that blockchain is that alternative and that it's fantastic and it's going to solve all the problems, but it is the only alternative that I've seen, and it's the only alternative that I think a lot of other people have seen. So given that, I think it's quite a staggering omission in the article to not actually make some kind of reference to the history of blockchain, and particular to that statement in Nakamoto's first genesis block of Bitcoin, namely, UK Chancellor on the brink of second bailout for banks. I hope this was interesting. I'm going to continue looking at the article and picking it apart, and so keep your eyes out for that, and see you in the next video. Bye for now.